Hey everybody, this is Tyler Dockery and I want to welcome you to lessons 4 and 5 of GRD152. Things have been going pretty well in here and I'm pleased with the content that I have received. I really like what I see. Some different things that we're going to talk about are we're going to talk about the critique of the materials that we did last week, and we're going to talk about lessons 4 and lessons 5. So first things first, want to go ahead and just touch base about the critiques. Critiquing is something that a lot of people have trouble with when they begin their work as graphic designers, and some of them struggle all the way through school about it. So I wanted to just take a moment and talk about that real briefly. First of all, when it comes to critique, many people feel that they've come into this program with an idea that their work is the best work that anyone has ever seen. And that might be true, but most likely it is not exactly the case. But your work is good and we're very pleased to receive it. And so a lot of times when students feel like they don't have the grade that they want, they feel like someone has gone out of their way to hurt them or to knock them down. People didn't give them great feedback, or they feel like there's this negative response is really some kind of a horrible monster that they should be afraid of. And that's not correct. One of the things that I would just kind of put out there is, first of all, if you think that this is a monster, it's not. You should probably grab the hand of that monster and have it walk with you for a little while. Everything will be okay. But basically, a lot of lawyers out there will tell you that when you face opposition, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? And sometimes that's a really big difference, because if you get negative feedback on your work, or you get feedback that you need to change or adjust your work style, or you stopped short, or you didn't push yourself as far as you could, that's legitimate responses. And if you want to fight back against that, the question that you're going to find is, do you want to be happy, where you take the feedback and use that to produce something new and exciting next time? Or do you want to struggle, in which case you're not going to be happy and you're just going to argue about that kind of thing? So just watch out. If another student gave you negative feedback, it's okay. If you received feedback from me that you needed to work harder, that's okay too. Graphic design is not a battle to be won. It's a dance. There's a lot of back and forth with things that people say and things that people want, and asking you to make changes and to be in realization of adjustments that you might need to make, or communications that need to take place. This is a dance back and forth. But just like any dance, if you stand completely rigid and unmoving, there's not going to be any back and forth. You're not going to be able to dance at all. It won't work. And so you're just going to end up struggling and unhappy. Instead, look at this as an opportunity to make some space so that you can grow. So again, when we look at critiques, there's a lot out there where we would really like you to see these items that we're saying. It's not personal. It is objective. If you're coming at your critiques with a personal, I feel this, I don't like that, that's wrong. Your objective notes need to be related to what you're trying to do and what's right for the audience, or what's right for the assignment. So take that to heart. Let's go ahead and talk about what we're doing here with lessons 4 and lessons 5. Specifically, we're getting started working with lines and curves, and we're getting started with a first big project, building out a set of icons. I want to stop you very quickly here. many of you will feel that stroke, that being simple lines, are going to be your go-to for icons. Don't do that. Don't. Look at the icons at the top of your browser. If you're like me, you've got 70 or 80 tabs open and multiple windows with that many. Or you may have a list of icons down on the bottom of your screen, or you may have a phone that showcases tons of icons. How many of those are going to include big shapes? Almost all of them. Why do they do that? Because it's recognizable that way. These are the things that you need to be thinking about as you're moving through this project. Don't create items with stroke. As you begin working with stroke, what you will notice is that when you have an item that is based on stroke, when you shrink it down, you start to run into problems. If you set the stroke to be variable, then when it shrinks down, the stroke will become too small to see, too small to display, and it absolutely will not be able to be printed. So you're going to lose out if your content is based around strokes. Don't do it. And this is, a pen or an outline shape, or, if some of you are trying to use the brush tool, please don't use that. You're only wasting your time. Okay, so basically, if you set it to not modulate, when you shrink your item down, but the font or the stroke stays the same size, it will crowd out your logo and you won't be able to see anything. And similarly, if you keep it at that standard size, when you increase the size of your logo, your lines will become too thin to see and it won't look appropriate anymore. Instead, focus on creating your icons with shapes. If you want to use text, create outlines much as you've learned in your typography courses. And I know you've got this. As you're moving through this, just understand that you should look to icons that you have and make sure that that works. Don't get confused about the word thumbnail. As you're working through these ideas, it's okay to have rough kind of ideas about what you want to do. You never want to include crayons or stick men. Those are incredibly unprofessional. But you want to know the difference between thumbnails and sketching and drawing. Make sure that we have an accurate idea of what you're going to do. Don't get overly complicated. Don't spend hours on a single issue. Make sure that you can communicate quickly to us what it is that you have. Also, this is a good time for you to be doing that research. Look into color studies. What are they? How are they done? What's an effective color study? What are font studies if you need them for these? What do they look like? How are they done? Make sure that you are looking not only to this project, but to the future. All right, thank you very much. I appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing your work.